And we're live. Usually Justin says wait 5 seconds, but guys, welcome to another anime review. I'm joined by Logan. He works on Discotheque titles. What have you worked on recently? That's been
recently. Well, today was Discotheque Day, so
yep. And you guys, that's a pretty small one.
Yeah, I mean, it varies. I mean, sometimes we go big, and sometimes we keep it, keep it conservative. I mean, I don't pick any of the stuff that gets announced, but
Honey and Clover season 2, right?
I worked on both seasons of that. I did all the sub revisions for that.
And then Lupin. What was the big Lupin thing?
Last Job, which I only looked over the packaging on that one, but it's kind of the last of an era. It's right before I guess they did all the voice actor changes. That's Brady at work for you.
That is a good package. And then something I didn't think would get a Blu-ray release. NG Night Lamoon and 40 on SD Blu-ray. So
yeah, I did some secondary work on that. It's an interesting show. It wasn't something I would have been on my radar, but.
And then you guys got more Kyokara.
Yeah, we finished that. That's finally the third season. No dub, unfortunately, but because that was an old Jenny on pickup for the first two seasons. But hey, at least it's finally done.
Is that the same character designer in Code Geass?
I don't know who did the designs for that, but yeah, they look kind of similar now that you mention it.
But the last Discotheque Day, Wonderful Adventures of Niles. I
worked on that.
Which is wild that you guys got that. Lupin the Third, Fujiko's Lie, Angel's three piece, and then the Anti-Magic Academy. So, and then Honey and Clover first season. So it's cool you guys are doing them back to back. You guys aren't spreading out the weight for Honey and Clover.
Yeah.
To finish. So, but yeah, Discotheque continues to put out great. I'm still waiting for my City Hunter cam. I'm still waiting for Psycho Armor Go variant to come. So.
Yeah, I don't know why those shipped separately, but who knows? But yeah, I got my City Hunter this week. So,
well, today, guys, we're talking about this is a mouthful of a title: Gundam Reconguista NG, the movie Part 1, Go Core Fighter. Now, when this, so for those who don't know, Reconguista was a pretty big deal when it was announced because Tomino it's his first return since '99 with Turn A.
Yeah, unless you count his. When he did the Zeta movies in 2004, but those were compilations. So,
his first original work since Turn A. And they had the same character designer, mech designer from your Raka 7. I can't think of the guy's name.
It's Kenichi Yoshida.
So those two, because your Raka 7 has great characters, great mechs. Tomino, I think Tomino is a genius. When he knocks it out of the park. He really knocks it out of the park.
Absolutely.
Turn A is fantastic.
And when he falls, he stumbles hard.
Now, a lot of people think this was a fall, that this was a huge stumble, but you think it was awesome.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to describe. Honestly, why I like it so much. I think it's because. Every time he comes back to Gundam now, it seems like he tries to do something just completely off the wall compared to what we've gotten used to. You look at Turn A and it was a Victorian era basically with, giant robots, and you had Sid Mead's design.
Yeah, Sid Mead, rest in peace. He gave the Gundam a mustache.
A mustache. Yeah. And that seems to be the thing is, because there was one other thing that Tomino did between the Zeta movies and coming back for G-Reco, and it was just a short in 2009 for what would that have been, the 30th anniversary, and and he every time he does it, he seems like he tries to shake up, what the perception of Gundam is, and I mean, who better to do that than the guy who invented Gundam? He made it.
And his history in the genre of mechs in general, like he did Zambot 3, which was kind of a deconstructionist, show of the giant robot series.
Absolutely.
And that's the first time he really started killing a lot of people in a show where you guys kill his name, Kill 'Em All Tomino. Then he goes on and creates Gundam. I mean, he's worked on. Did he do Daitarn 3?
I don't remember, to be honest.
So, but
I mean,
like,
he did Ideon, which, come
oh
on.
yeah, and then Ideon, which a lot of people, the stuff that Neon Genesis gets a lot of love for, Ideon was doing well before.
Oh yeah,
decades before. So
yeah,
I think Ideon's almost like, I was watching a YouTube video and someone described it as a Lovecraftian film or a Lovecraftian show, and I was like, you know what? Kind
I
of.
can see where they're going with that.
Yeah. So this guy is an absolute. I think he's a genius. Created Gundam, which is probably his biggest claim to fame, and Reconguista. I didn't hate it at all. I thought it was. But before we get into the actual content, let's talk about the packaging on this release because.
Oh yeah.
First off, Reconguista and G, the movies are 5 movies. I'm guessing I thought it was gonna be like a retelling, but it just seems like a compilation with a higher budget.
I get the feeling that's where they're going with it,
which is fine. So each set is like $110, which I was a little like,
that's ouch.
But when the packaging came, first off, just a beautiful. The Japanese really put a lot of love into their packaging.
Oh yeah.
Like I think I paid a very similar price as the Gurren Lagann box set, and it's just a hard shell box with discs in it.
Well, and when you look at, this is what one of the series Blu-rays was like, and it's
even
basically
it's nice.
The packaging is the same way. If you put them all side by side, they all match up.
And even those standard releases look great. But this one came with a character book. It also in English as well. A character book, a mech book, which I loved the mech book. And then something.
Yeah, that one's nice.
And then something that I was really shocked about. It came with the entire storyboard of the film. This huge, thick book.
And that was the bonus that we got for getting the perfect pack, as they call it, which was the import that Right Stuff had. I think it was exclusive to Premium Bandai in Japan. Basically, to get those extra books, you had to pay extra, and that was the one we got.
And right now, Right Stuff has the second film up for March. So in about a month, we're going to be getting the second film, and then I think that's it. That's announced so far. Is there any more out in Japan? Like, has the third film been in theaters yet?
No, the second one hasn't even come out yet. It comes out on the 21st over there. So it might have already had the theatrical run, but I think that might be when they're releasing it on Blu-ray over there. But no. Now that I think about it, because we got ours about a week after it came out in Japan, for shipping times and everything. So I assume that date of the 21st must be when it premieres in theaters over there.
So, and then judging by Right Stuff's photos for the second movie set, it looks like we're getting more storyboards, which is awesome.
Yeah, I've already looked at the Perfect Pack stuff for that, and it's another storyboard book, which is great because I ended up importing because that's going to be kind of a theme, as I've imported a ton of this stuff. They had a making of for the series when it first came out. And the whole reason I got that, because it had no subtitles, it's all, it's like an hour and a half long making of. I can't understand a lick of it, but I got it specifically it came with a storyboard booklet of the first 3 episodes.
That's awesome. See, I think something like that's really cool.
Yeah, which is great because now I've got the storyboards for the movie, which covers roughly the first 5 episodes to compare it to. And at some point, I'm going to go through and try and figure out if they actually show off what they've updated.
And then it comes with the 2 scripts as well. I'm looking over at my pack. 2 scripts, which are in Japanese, so you can't really read them. But beggars can't be choosers. So let's get into the movie. So you said it covers roughly. It's been a while since I've watched Reconguista, so watching this felt kind of fresh. But
same here. I haven't watched it in probably at least 2.5 years.
And it's your second favorite Gundam of all time.
Yeah.
I thought it was
my favorite. This is my second.
Man, you're really gonna have a good time this year because X is getting a Blu-ray release, and then
looking forward to that. I've got the imported ones, but now I'll have subtitles on them that I didn't have to hash together, so I'm good with that.
So this, you said, how many episodes does this roughly cover?
So just from what I remember of the series, it's roughly the first 5 episodes because the movie ends with them taking off into space, and that was basically where the 5th episode ended, and kind of kicked off the second arc. So it makes sense that they'd cover those episodes here, since just cover the kind of Earth arc in the first go.
Which I think they did a really good job. It didn't feel fast paced. It didn't feel like it was cutting any corners. Was there any added content though?
Most of the stuff, I couldn't find anything that really seemed like it was added animation wise, like other than touch ups and things like that. It seemed like most of it was like narration and stuff like that from the characters that kind of gave you more of an idea into their mindset. And I think to kind of cover the stuff that they were chopping out. Because roughly with the length of it, it's 90 minutes long. So, they lost basically an episode's worth of footage out of the 5.
Which isn't bad. It's not terrible.
No, it's not bad at all. I mean, if you compare it to like the original Mobile Suit Gundam trilogy, that was 43 episodes condensed into 3 2-hour and 20-minute movies. I mean, that's 7 hours to cover 43 episodes. Whereas I kind of prefer the films over the show. Yeah. Oh, I mean, most people do. It trimmed the fat. Yeah. But with this, it's like if we assume that all the movies are going to be 90 minutes, that's 7.5 hours to cover a show that's only 9 hours long. So they're really not going to have to cut all that much. And hopefully if they cut more of the fat, they'll start going like they did with the Mobile Suit Gundam movies, where the third one ended up with a lot of new material. I'm kind of hoping that's what we're going to see here is as the movies go on, it's going to start, doing more to flesh it out.
See, that's what I got. That's what I was under the impression of, was that this was going to, not to say it's like the rebuild of Evangelion, but Code Geass did this too, where the first movie was kind of a retelling, and then slowly as time went on, it just went in a different direction, just like Eva, Code Geass.
Right.
And I'm hoping that's what this does, because I would love to see Tomino more focused, because a lot of the big criticisms that I had and a lot of people had was that you could never tell what the fuck was just going on. People were switching sides left and right. It wasn't focused. I would love for him to have the budget, have the focus, because I do think he's a talented director, and he is getting old, so this might be like his last project. So
right.
So we got 5 films, first one, second one coming out soon. And overall, did you enjoy yourself though?
Oh, I loved it. I mean, it was great going back to the show. I mean, the movie itself opens up with the opening to the series. It basically uses the opening credits exactly as they were, which I kind of didn't expect.
That opening scene where the girl does like a barrel roll with the scroll suit on out of the mech, that is so beautifully animated. Like it's stunning to look at. And
that's one of the things I think they touched up, because there were little things, I mean, just, little bits of it that just didn't feel quite the same from, and maybe it's just my memory playing tricks on me, but, it felt like there were little things, whereas instead of reanimating entire scenes, they just kind of went through and touched things up.
I feel like the CG also looked a lot better.
Yeah, and I think that's, that was largely a, not trying to produce stuff on a weekly basis, because, I mean, we've all heard, just how crunch a lot of these shows can get, and, I can't imagine this was any different in 2014, so I think, the extra time gave them a chance to touch a lot of this stuff up.
But I think with this movie, like you said, it trimmed some of the fat a little bit. I'm glad, because I feel like the story so far in the first 90 minutes of this 5-part series, I feel like it's a lot more cohesive than it was in the show.
Yeah, it feels more focused.
It's also the first 90 minutes, so who knows?
Right. And I mean, and that's not to say that it was perfect. There were, some of the dialogue that people have been making fun of for, 5 years now. When Ida in the one of the first battle scenes, she shouts, "The world is not square." And, that to most people, you just read it and you're like, what the hell does that even mean? And, I guess from what I read up on at the time, it's supposed to be something like the world isn't black and white. And it's just kind of a literal translation of like a Japanese saying. So, stuff like that kind of comes off weird. There's a scene where they're rescuing Ida from the little like prison tower, and Bellry starts explaining, well, this is why we can't do, what you're talking about with solar panels. And then the thing entirely cuts off, goes to a battle scene, and then we cut back to, a minute later, and he's like, and so that's why we just can't do that. And you completely never find out why it is that they can't do whatever it was. So, some of the storytelling, I'm the first to admit, it's still kind of disjointed here and there.
What do you think the story is supposed to be about? Because I think it's Gin Urobuchi who famously said it's a story about stories. It's a story about storytelling.
Yeah, I mean, that's an accurate way of putting it. I mean, Tomino tried to say when he made the series that, it was supposed to be a message to, the youth of today. And I remember Toshio Okada from Gainax had said, he goes, if Tomino's making this show for kids of today, he's out of touch with today's kids. These are not, kids watching Yokai Watch are not going to watch this and have any clue what's going on. That's and true. Of course, the show got thrown into a late night time slot. So if it was made for kids, it kind of didn't really do so well in that regard. But, I think the message, at least what I saw from it was, early on, so much of it is about how, the people of the Capitol Tower, they don't know war. They barely have a military, and in a sense, it's kind of talking to a sheltered view of, you don't know what the world is really like. And, Ida kind of comes off with that when she shows up and yells at Bellry, like, you don't have any idea what the real world is like. And I feel like that's kind of what Tomino was getting at, was trying to, make a commentary on, there's that meme that goes around that's, the guy looking at the Gundam and it says, wow, cool robot. And, over his head is the message of war is bad, and it's going completely over his head. And, in a sense, I get the feeling that's kind of what it was. And that was always what Tomino was trying to get at, was the show was never, hey, cool robot. It was, these are the horrors of war. We're just using giant robots to deliver the story because people are going to watch it then.
And I have another question. What's on the second disc? Because I haven't even touched
Honestly, I don't have any clue, because
it doesn't say anywhere in the packaging.
Well, and what I'd read from a quick translation of Amazon, because they had just the box set that we got without the extra books. Translating Amazon Japan, it seemed like it was just a bunch of maybe trailers and like behind the scenes stuff, but none of it subtitled. So I just didn't even bother looking at it, to be honest.
And then did they touch up G-Self?
As far as like the design or just the animation? He
looks a little different. Like, did they add detail to his eyes?
They did, yeah.
Okay.
That was one thing I remember seeing when one of the first trailers came out. Somebody did a side-by-side, and I don't know if they fully reanimated it, although if some of the scenes were CG, you really just re-render it. But they definitely did add more detail, like in the eyes and stuff like that, which Sunrise has been known to do for even home releases. They'll touch them up after broadcast.
Now, I really hope this means we get more kits.
I hope so too, because there's a lot of stuff, especially in the master grade line, that we could really stand to get. That
a G-Self master grade.
Yeah,
with that backpack.
Oh yeah, and I think the problem that you ran into there when the show was airing was, at the same time, Build Fighters Try started a week after G-Reco did on broadcast. So, and what's more toyetic than, the show about, hey, build a Gundam model and fight with it. So
I'm still sour that our first look at an animated Crossbone is on Build Fighters. Oh, we have a famous person in the chat here. We have Too Spooky. What's going on, Too Spooky? Well, since there's actually a small number of people, I actually got kind of doxxed recently. Someone came to my restaurant that was a viewer on YouTube, and it was Friday night. I swear I heard, "Hey, is that Flip Otaku, and I looked around because I don't tell people in my
Right.
personal life besides like my wife, and like some friends know. But I looked around the restaurant because we were busy and I didn't see anyone I recognized. So I was just like, maybe I'm hearing things. And then I'm doing a light, and not to shit talk the guy because I don't want to make him mad because he messaged me. The dude started commenting and was like, "Hey, I saw you at your restaurant. Your food's really good." And I was like, a little creeped out by it, So too spooky. Whoa. Well, Logan disappeared. Too spooky. To answer your question, buddy, it is Filippo's Pizza. Dude, you're more than welcome to ever come down. I'm gonna try to see what happened to Logan. Oh, there he is. There he is. He's back. There he is. What's
Sorry
going
about
on,
that.
buddy?
You try to hit one button and the thing drops on you.
Sorry, not to try to derail your stream. I just wanted to know if it's available info since I'm in the Midwest. Yeah, it's spooky. I can. I will shoot you a DM on Twitter. It's good, dude. Thanks for hopping in. By the way, I mean we are almost done. This was going to be like a 20-30 minute review. I don't like doing reviews for stuff more than 7 minutes because I don't feel like people want to look at my face for more than 7 minutes and do a review. But what's going on, Slim, as well? So overall, I think the movie is good. Yeah. I think they're on a right track, and I really hope the second movie has more new content in it.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those movies that's really hard to you want to take it at face value on its own, but it's not like you're Back to the Future or something like that where the original movie was just the one and then they decided to make more. This is from the get-go you're adapting a series that's 26 episodes and trying to go on from there. So standing alone, this movie's really not going to do much for you because it just kind of ends setting up the next arc. But I think just based on what they've been able to tighten up with the story so far, I think if they can keep that up, it's going to be great. What I'm curious to see now, honestly, is Mark Ishii, the voice actor for Bellry, announced he's taking a hiatus, and that was a month or so ago. I don't know how much that's going to affect things because honestly, I wasn't sure how much of the audio they actually re-recorded.
Do you think all those lines are already recorded?
I mean, if they're reusing most of the lines from the series, then they're probably fine. I guess it comes down to how much of it, is Tomino done rewriting everything and now it's a matter of recutting it and reanimating. And, if so, have they voiced all the lines in advance? I don't know enough about how they're producing it to guess one way or the other.
I think it was fun. I watched it on the couch when I was home, and my kid was actually kind of like paying attention. I think the character designs are very not kid friendly, but they're a lot more cute than most Gundam.
They're I guess you could say they're softer in a sense.
Yeah, but I love the way they look. Like when I first watched Reconguista, I was like, man, this looks like Eureka 7. And I was like, this looks, and then lo and behold, it's the same guy. People shit on the mech designs in the series. I think they're better than IBO.
I would agree.
I do think Barbados, Lupus Rex version, is one of the coolest fucking mechs in all of Gundam.
Absolutely.
I love it.
The Rex is great.
So what would be your top 5 favorite mechs?
Oh, man.
And specifically keeping it in the Gundam franchise.
I love the Double X. Because X is my favorite series. Probably second would be the Freedom, just because if you look at it next to the Double X, it's basically the Double X Lite.
Okay.
I love the 00, specifically the 00 Riser, just because I just like the whole design of it. Just kind of looks cool. Anything beyond that? I like the Unicorn.
I got. Did you see that thing someone sent me on Twitter? Did I?
No,
I
don't think I did.
So one guy sent me a viewer. I don't like saying the word fan because I only have 3,000 subscribers. I don't want.
That's a lot of subscribers. Come on.
It took me 13 months. I am a little proud of that number.
That ain't bad. That ain't bad.
This one guy sent me sent me this bust of new Gundam.
Nice.
Really, really nicely detailed too.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
I think it's used because one of the left shoulder pads had to be glued down, but I'm not complaining. But then the other thing, I gotta be really careful with this because of the stand. But he sent me this unicorn. It's a metal figure. Unicorn
oh yeah, it's the metal build.
It's so fucking nice. These shields. It still took me like an hour to put together because all the shields had to be put together, and you had to pull out every single, like, and there's so much detail. Like on the back here, he's got ammo clips for his gun, the rocket launcher. Just really, really nice. So whoever, I don't know if I want if he wants his name said off on stream, but shout out to you. Thank you so much. Because and the way he got my address is I had sold him some manga like a year ago. And then he started watching my channel, and he realized, he was like, "Oh," he's like, "Hey, do you mind if I send you something?" And I'm like, "Yeah," but I had forgotten about it because like 3 months later, I get this box with no return address, and I was like,
"That's kind of that makes you wonder."
I was like, and then I opened it, and I was like, "What the fuck? Like that's like a $200 package." I was like, "What?" And then I bring it inside, and my wife's like, "Did you spend more money?" I'm like, "No, I don't know. I don't know where this came from." But then eventually he messaged me on Reddit and was like, "Hey man, I sent you something. I got you something else, but it's on back order." And I'm like, "What? Okay, thanks."
Thanks. Awesome.
So, yeah, I mean, those two are my favorite. Those two, Unicorn's probably number one. But then number 3 is Barbados Lupus Rex. Just the end of IBO with that fight is just oh man, it's so good. How do you like about season 2 of IBO?
When I watched it when it was airing on Toonami, I've come across this feeling like where I've gotten to shows that I can watch them on a weekly basis and one episode a week and I'm good with it. And then I've got other ones where if I don't binge like 4 or 5 episodes, I just fall off from them. And unfortunately, IBO was one where when it was airing on Toonami, I fell off from it. I managed to stay on with the first season. And then when the second season started, just something didn't click and I fell off from it. And then when the Blu-rays came out, I finally sat down and rewatched it over the span of like 3 or 4 days. And it clicked. It's not my favorite Gundam, but it's another one of those Gundams where they took a chance on trying to do something different. And
I think it paid off.
I liked it.
That's what I. The guy who designed the mechs in IBO, most of the mechs in IBO, he is writing the Moon Gundam manga. I don't know if you've read this. It's a Universal Century timeline. Amuro Ray is in it. It's supposedly canon, but the mech designs in here. Actually, I'll see if I can pull up some mech designs because they are just they're beautiful. Moon Gundam Mechanical Works. Let's see if I can find some. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen with you because the designs on these are just insane. Here we go. Like that. That's the is that the main one? Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome. Then you got this bad boy. Just they feel very IBO,
Yeah.
But yeah, I love it. And then the only thing that we got you can legally because you have to read. And me and you being fans of Kamen Rider know that is
right.
That's pretty much how it's the life of a pirate.
It's the way it goes.
But the only thing that you could get was the model kit, which I have half built. I never finished building it, but he's got this like cool psycho armor frame, like backpack that's like a half moon. Kind of like the new Gundam has those like funnels,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good series. If anyone is interested in Moon Gundam, there's a group which fan translates the manga. They don't make any money off of it, which is how you should support fan subs. Like Mega Beast Empire, they don't charge anybody. We actually, my friend Zach from Muchu Shelf, he pretty much single-handedly took. Have you heard of Manga Rock?
I've heard the name. I'm not familiar with it
He
beyond that.
pretty much called them out and took them down. Like they were charging people money to access licensed manga, and like they were taking.
Was that the one that went down in like was the last 6 months or something like that?
and they keep sneaking back, like they shut down. But if you already had the app,
coverage. I remember seeing coverage on ANN about that, but I didn't really read into it that much.
But yeah, so he pretty much took that down. But me and him both, because I'm not pro piracy. I'm pro if I can't get something in my native language.
Right.
Until I met you, and then you're like, hey, you can add subtitles to Blu-rays. And I was like, what the fuck? So now I've actually been importing a lot lately. So,
but I mean, even then, we still, you still kind of have to unfortunately rely on, the fan subbers and stuff to pull that off because, let's face it, most of the time, if we had the subtitles, we'd probably have it on Blu-ray. I mean, Gundam X is one of the few examples I've still got that, I've got the Japanese Blu-rays and I'm using the English subs from the DVDs, but that's going to change in a couple of weeks.
So me and you are both weird guys. We both like niche things. I should Justin.
Apt way to describe it.
Yes. So I found something that I've been watching that Justin had no idea what it was, and I was blown away that he had no idea what this was. So I'm going to ask you if you know what this is. Okay. Have you heard of Yokai Monsters?
No, I cannot say I have.
So it's a tokusatsu show, but with puppets. It's supposed to be like a kids show, but yeah, like that's like what the creatures look like.
Yokai Monsters Spook Warfare.
And then there's a sequel, 100 Monsters, and then there's a third one that I haven't gotten yet because it's really out of print.
Interesting.
This is actually, I recommend this. This is a lot of fun. It's actually really cool. I'm doing a tokusatsu like buying guide video and trying to get some like lesser known. Like I got Mechanical Violator Hokkaido on DVD now, and a couple other things like some like lesser known, toku shows. And my friend Ice pointed me towards that, and I was like, that looks stupid. And it is stupid, but it's the good kind of stupid. So,
well, that's the best kind of stupid. You got to have the good stupid.
Yeah. So since the review's done, do you just want to catch up for about 10 minutes?
Sure, why not?
Have you been watching 01?
I still have not gotten a chance to start it yet.
It's good.
I've been so busy, like you have no idea.
I know.
There's been so much work coming down that I mean, in fact, once I'm done with this, I'm watching a movie tonight for work stuff. So
I think I might know what that movie is.
You might, but yeah.
So I'm about 10 episodes behind 01. Just because I usually watch when I'm at the gym, and I've been on and off again going to the gym. That show is so freaking good. I love the gimmick. I think we talked about this last time. The belt. I think that's like the first time I've seen a Kamen Rider belt that I've been like, I would buy that, and I could see myself wearing it like a dumbass, just wearing it around.
It reminds me a lot of the Deno belt with the whole, like the swiping mechanic and all that, which I like because I love Deno.
It looks like a freaking NVIDIA graphics card. It looks like a graphics card.
Yeah, you're right. It definitely does.
And then every time that they introduce a new suit, that very monotone voice.
Oh yeah, I said, I haven't watched the show, but I've seen enough of the clips of the text to speech voice, and yeah, that's fantastic.
A jump to the sky turns to a rider kick. Like I say that all the time. Nate is cute, not gonna lie. I said I watched Godmazinger. It's really shit.
Look, okay, I worked on Godmazinger. I got brought in to do some secondary cleanup after the QC process because there were some iffy things with the subs that, like, I mean, you watched it, I know that. So, yeah. There's all the stuff about dinosaurs. The subs kept going back and forth between like dinosaurs versus lizards and dragons. And the thing is, like, if you know, I mean, I don't know a lot of Japanese, but I know a little bit, and thankfully some of it actually came from Kamen Rider, and they kept using terms that it's like when you look them up, you're like, well, it could be dinosaurs, it could be lizards, it could be this, it could be dragons, because they kept using Ryuki, which if you know Kamen Rider, Ryuki, Dragon Knight, and so I went in and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna pick something and we're gonna stick with it across the board. And I worked on Great Mazinger. I did the QC on the SDBD for that. I love the Mazinger series. And then I watched this and I'm like, what in the hell is this?
Okay, so the first couple episodes, I was like, because you never said, which Logan, I'm going to call you out because you never said it was bad. You said
I never said it was bad.
You said
I said it was a thing.
So,
which it is. It's a thing.
After I watched it, I was like, that was all right. I was like, I didn't hate that. And then as I thought about it for like a week, I was like, I did not like that. I was just not like it. I watched 92 episodes of the original Mazinger series in the span of 2 months. My brain melted. Even that from 1972?
Something like that, yeah.
That had better animation than this 1984 monstrosity. Like, just oh my god, I hated like anytime a fight scene happened, close up of the dinosaur and the screen would shake, and then you cut back to the guy Mazinger, and he's just like Yamato, and then just rip the dinosaur in half, and then it would just phase out.
Yeah, it's one of those shows that if it didn't have the Mazinger name attached to it, if it was just, give it whatever the hell name you want to call it, but if it was just some random show, it'd just be yet another one of those weird, like, pseudo mecha shows that just faded into obscurity that, a dozen people would, there'd be one wiki article on it, and that'd be it. But the only reason it's even a thing at all is because of that name attachment. But
the manga,
honestly, that name is only there. I mean, yeah, the manga I've heard is significantly better. So like someone said, because after watching it, I was like, going into it, I was like, I'm gonna read the manga, and then after I watched it, I was like, not gonna read the manga, and then someone was like, you should read the manga. The art is so detailed. It's weird how Go can do like very cutesy characters like Devilman and Cutie Honey, right?
But he could do like a really serious, detailed, dark looking series. Like, the shots are just brutal. There's a lot of nudity. Man, the princess is. Her forehead is so fucking big. You know what I'm talking about? It threw me off. I know. I was like, whoa. Someone asked, am I into Transformers? Are you into Transformers?
When I was a kid, I watched all the time. I mean, it's one of those shows that, you kind of go back to it and it's like, yeah, I like it, but has it really held up? I mean,
I have
the Bay movies
right there. I got the box set.
Yeah, I mean, I have the box set, and it's one of those things where it's like the Bay movies kind of re-sparked things, but then, Bumblebee came out, and it was like, wow, is this what we could have actually gotten all this time? I mean, I still like the first Bay movie, but I thought Bumblebee was fantastic.
Now, my favorite iteration of Transformers is, and I've only read the first volume so far, is the IDW comic. Really,
I haven't read it, but everybody I know that's read it loves it.
I love it. They apparently eventually introduced Japanese Transformers that were only available in the manga, which is getting published next month by Viz. It's supposed to come out this month, but they pushed it back a couple weeks. So it's the Gen 1 Transformers manga hardcover. I'm so excited.
Nice.
You know what? My favorite thing to do is not my favorite thing, but one of my hobbies, quote unquote, is I'm in a Facebook group for fans of the Criterion Collection.
Oh, okay.
And they're fucking douchebags. First off, they're so pretentious, and they flipped out when the Godzilla box set came out. They flipped out. They were showing like scenes of the shows being cheesy and corny. Be like, how can Criterion release this? So about once a week, I'll post, hey, when is the Michael Bay Transformers Criterion box set coming out? Or hey, when is the like just like that tweet, when is the Heisei era Fast and the Furious box set coming out? And they get so upset, dude. They get so mad.
I mean, how can they get that upset? The Criterion put Armageddon on out of their collection. I mean, come on. If you're gonna put Armageddon out there, how is it that Transformers isn't technically qualified for a Criterion release? Come on.
Transformers and the Resident Evil movies are huge guilty pleasures. Like, I don't feel guilty about liking Fast and the Furious, but those two franchises, I'm like, I like them a lot. I just can't tell nobody.
It's funny because, I used to, this is a guilty pleasure and that's a guilty pleasure. Jason DeMarco, the creator of Toonami, he tweeted something about a year ago, I think it was, and, it really made me think. And he said, why should you feel guilty about, stuff that you like? Just like what you like. And I realized, I'm like, you know what? He's absolutely right about that. I mean, there, you look at how many people, back in the day, Sailor Moon, I can't tell people I watch Sailor Moon, no, nobody cares these days, and that's what I've gotten to. It's like, man, I don't have any guilty pleasures anymore. I just like shit I like.
Yeah, I mean, I get made fun of a lot by my wife included for liking Toku. But I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah. I was at work reading a Power Rangers comic, and one of the older employees was like, "Are you reading a Power Rangers comic?" I was like, "Fuck yeah, I'm reading a Power Rangers comic. It's badass."
My boss at my day job gave me that crap once when I got in a Japanese import of the Shogun Megazord, and I took it out of the box and he's giving me all this crap. Oh, Power Rangers, and I'm like, okay, first of all, you recognized it as Power Rangers without me even saying anything. So strike one right there. And his sister is his business partner. And she goes, what do you have to say about that? You've got Voltron and Transformers all over your bedroom at your house. And he just gets this look on his face. He's like, and just turns and walks away.
Voltron, not a lot of people know that Voltron is based off of. I think it's so interesting when an American company, like this happened with Voltron, this has happened with Transformers, technically is a Japanese property. This happened with Power Rangers. When they take Robotech, when take 3 or 4 different shows and just splice it together.
Oh yeah.
Like people who don't know, the first was it 3 seasons, like the original Power Rangers? Is it the first 3?
Yeah, the first 3 were 3 separate Sentai, with seasons 2 and 3 being a lot of American action footage because they kept the Zero Ranger suits.
It's so weird. Like, that's so weird to me. And I think, and the fact that they were able to actually do it, pull it off, is mind blowing.
Well, and then you look at all the stuff they had in season 2 where, they had Toei shoot all the new footage, including new mecha fights. And then Bandai was like, no, we kind of really need new toys out there. So we need to bring over the Die Ranger mecha. And they're like, well, yeah, but we shot all this footage. They're like, we don't care. Figure it out. So if you watch the first, I think it's the first half of season 2, and every one of the Zord fights is cut. You never actually see the monsters in the same footage as the Zords, because all those monster shots were filmed with the original, Megazord. And then they got rid of it. It wasn't until they brought in the White Ranger that they were able to start using the actual Die Ranger monsters. That's when
that stuff gets so confusing to me. I'm just like, what? Do you think Shout Factory is going to bring over more Sentai shows?
I hope so. I don't know, what the holdup is. I mean, somebody asked them about it the other day, and they were tweeting, stay tuned. We haven't given up on it. I don't even know if they said that much, but they were saying,
the rights switched over to Hasbro. And Hasbro
and I have a feeling some of that may have, kind of tripped things up, because if you look at the packaging, all the stuff they had was listed as, licensed by Saban. And so I have to wonder if, they just ran out whatever they'd licensed, and now they're having to either deal with Hasbro, or maybe Hasbro just said, screw it, we don't want any of it. And maybe they're going straight to Toei.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, they stopped right at the seasons that I was looking the most forward to for, that era,
I'm glad that we got Jetman.
Ranger and all Deca Ranger.
I'm just glad that we got Jetman. That's my favorite Sentai series. We got that on DVD.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I mean, I got them all right. You can kind of see them through the microphone.
I do hope whatever they do, I would love to see them switch to SDVDs, because it's a thing. It's a thing now. It's not just Discotech being, we're doing something different. I mean, granted, there are other companies that have had their issues with it, but that's neither here nor there. But I just love to see it, because 10 DVDs, those fat packs take up a lot of space, and we all know, if you can cram, even if you do 2 discs, that's 1 Blu-ray case. I mean, you could cut so much space down. I'd love to see them switch to that.
I mean, look at what Mill Creek's doing with Ultraman. I mean,
do something like that, I'd be happy.
Nate's got a question for me. Do you think? I'll just answer this real quick. Do you believe Demon Slayer lived up to the hype? When I did my first impressions for the manga Demon Slayer, I said this was garbage, and I don't like it. I stand by that. I don't like the show. Besides the animation being good, the story's not good. Characters aren't good. It's a very generic shonen. That's why it was failing in Japan before the anime came out. The anime comes out, it sold more copies than One Piece. Just blew the fuck up. So it's, maybe someone asked this, but what's the back on Logan's wall? Bottles or something?
Oh, yeah. So let me pull one off here. So if you're asking about it, you don't recognize what they are, but Kamen Rider build from 2 years ago. These were the power-ups that he used in his belt, and they all kind of just slot into this thing. And so yeah, there were 60 of them, and I bought all 60 of them along with the little panels that they slot into, and they're all up on the wall.
Logan's a huge Kamen Rider fan.
Yeah, I spend a lot of money on Kamen Rider.
Which is,
I'm almost not proud of it. But like I said, no guilty pleasures, just stuff I like.
Look behind me. I have 2 more shows right here. I'm not proud of this either. It is an addiction.
Yeah, that it is.
Also, once you have one series, you're like, fuck, I kind of have to have all of them.
Well, and that's been my crutch because I'm a completionist. So it's like, okay, so I buy all these, I buy the series. Well, okay, I need the movies. And then it's like, all right, well, now I want this and want that. And, it's the same way with the collectibles, I bought, okay, I'm just going to get the deluxe bottles. Well, now I've got, 45 of them. I'm this close to getting done. Now I got to get the rest of them. And
that's why I'm scared of collecting the 01 driver. I'm like, I'm going to get all of them.
The worst one I had was Gokaiger was the very first Toku that I really started watching that wasn't Power Rangers. And of course, what do they have? All the little Ranger keys. And of course, Bandai was releasing all of them. And I have I think there's, with all the ones they released after the series ended, I think there's like 270, something like that. I've got all of the keys. And
I
took a long time and a lot of money to collect.
Came this close to buying all the cards from Ultraman Orb.
Oh, nice.
I was like, oh man. So out of the big 3, is Kamen Rider your favorite?
Yes. Yeah.
Mine's probably Ultraman. But
yeah, I mean, I started getting into Ultraman once Mill Creek got the license, because it's like, it's easy to get now, so I might as well just watch it. But yeah, I wish Metal Heroes would make a return.
Yes.
But I feel like Kamen Rider has kind of merged with that, especially with the way some of the suits are. So I don't know if we'll see any Metal Hero stuff come back, but it would be nice.
I just want to ask Selby, why did you license, out of all the Metal Heroes, he licenses probably the weirdest one. Juspian's a fucking weird show. When you look at the context of the rest of the series, they're all very I think it's Blue SWAT, Jasperion, Govarian. All those shows are just cop shows pretty much, and with a Toku filter on it. And then Juspian is not a cop show at all, even though they call him Space Wolf or Investigator?
Mega Beast Investigator, yeah.
It's like
he doesn't really investigate him, he just kind of kicks the crap out of him.
The music in that show, though, oh my god, the best theme songs ever of any Toku show, in my opinion. Man, Build is so good. I really hope we get Build on. I hope Shout Factory releases Build.
I hope somebody gets the license in general. The only thing I'm worried about with that is where they start, because I guess the question is, if once somebody gets it, do you start all the way back in 71? Do you kick off with Heisei? Do you jump forward to 01 and start with that? I don't know where you start.
I think, and plus I think we've been spoiled with Mill Creek. I mean, from October to December, we had 5 Blu-ray sets. We haven't got any this year yet. At the end of February, we get 2. April, we get 1. May, we get 1. So,
yeah, I mean, if Shout, again, assuming Shout ends up getting it, I mean, anybody who's paid attention to the Toku circles knows that there's been a lot of rumblings. And so, if Shout gets it, I hope they can pick up on their release speed, because they were doing pretty good with their Super Sentai releases, coming out on a decent basis.
And
then, whatever stopped them. Yeah, it was
Come on, Hasbro, fuck off. I'm buying your Lightning collection. Hurry up and release more Sentai.
That's the only thing I'm hoping for with Rider is since it doesn't have the baggage of the Power Rangers connection, other than Masked Rider, which the less said about that, the better.
Do you think that there's people out there that are just like, I love Masked Rider? It's my favorite show.
I like it for one reason, because it was absolutely my introduction to anything Kamen Rider, and I love the Black RX suit. It's just so good.
I do. But Black RX is a show, though.
It's a show, and it's not.
The suit's really good, though.
The suit's great.
Suit is incredible. But let's go ahead and wrap it up, Logan. Thank you for coming on, dude. You want to do this again? You want to do this again when Film 2 comes out?
Absolutely, I'm up for it.
All right, and we can always talk about more Kamen Rider at the end. So, guys, thanks for tuning in. I think Zach's getting up at like 1 a.m. my time. We'll probably do a late night stream again because I don't got to be at work early tomorrow. So, thank you guys for watching. Go follow Logan on Twitter. You're at
Schmollus1. I probably should have put it in my thing, but
me and him talk a lot on Twitter. So if you just go to my replies, I'm sure you'll see me and him talking to each other. So, take care, guys.